السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. سعيدة بتواجدي معكم. أنا الدكتورة هناء عاشور من جامعة العربي بالمهدي البواقي للمشاركة في فعاليات الملتقى الوطني المعنون بالفضاءات، الرقمية، وخصوصيات المجتمعات، الافتراضية، الإشكالات، البحثية، وتكييف، المقاربات، المنظم من طرف فرقة البحث نوغرافيا الوسائط الجديدة بالجزائر، جامعة الجزائر 3. أشارك معكم في هذا الملتقى بورقة بحثية باللغة الإنجليزية تحت عنوان Visual Communities, the Reality of their Existence and Limit. استسمحكم قبل البداية بعرض المداخلة بلغتها الأصلية، أن أقدم ولو ملخصا بسيطا لمحتوى هذه المداخلة باللغة العربية، حيث نسعى في هذه المداخلة وهي مداخلة نظرية للتعرف أكثر حول المجتمعات الافتراضية، ما هي خصائصها، التعرف على أنواعها، التعرف على إيجابياتها وسلبياتها. يعني هذه الفكرة العامة التي حاولت أتطرق إليها في هذه المداخلة.
والآن سأقدم المداخلة بلغتها الأصلية وهي اللغة الإنجليزية، بحث بعنوان Virtual Communities, Reality of Their Existence and Limits. The world today is witnessing a new breakthrough in the world of communications that began with the emergence of the Internet, which was the cause of an unprecedented communicative knowledge revolution that changed the typical image of ordinary life and continues to change it on a continuous and rapid basis that is difficult to control. For example, the concept of virtual communities, this concept that is still tainted by ambiguity, and researchers in the field of communications and modern societies have not settled on a single definition of it. Through this research paper, we will try to identify all the details of these societies through a theoretical study to answer the following main question: what are virtual communities? A number of sub-questions fall under this main question. First one, what are the types of virtual communities? What are the characteristics of virtual communities? What is the point of having virtual communities? What are the pros and the cons of virtual communities? Well, we'll start with a definition of virtual communities. There are several definitions of virtual communities. Ringgold focused on the technological aspect of virtual communities and defined them as social aggregation that emerge from the net when enough people carry on those public discussions long enough with sufficient human feeling to form webs of personal relationships in cyberspace. Some common points between these definitions, namely socially engaged people, exchange of information to achieve a specific interest, and the cyberspace. The characteristics of virtual communities, we can conclude them in 6 points. The first one, cohesion. Means by looking that people are looking for identity, relationships, community members develop friendships over time. Effectiveness, the impact on members' lives. Help, members ask and receive help from each other. Language, members create their own language that they use it in their inside of their community. Self-regulation, by setting rules which they are obliged to respect them. Stages of online community lifestyle. We have 5 stages. The first one is visitors, people who just visit the community. Second, novices, new members. Regulars are people or members who participate in this community. Leaders, people who create topics and plan activities. Elders, they are respected members who share their knowledge to others. Virtual communities types. There are many types of virtual communities. I will try to conclude them in 5 types. The first one, communities based on the particulars of its members. Age-related virtual communities can be targeted at older people as youth. Gender-related communities, virtual communities reflecting real communities. Virtual communities based on purpose. We have communities of transactions, communities of interest, communities of fantasy, communities of relationship. There are communities of practice, and we have customer communities. The pros and cons of virtual communities. Let's start by the pros of virtual communities. First of all, according to member, we have virtual identity, absence of geographical boundaries, and digital creativity. According to business, we have reaching a broader audience, cost-effective, deeper engagement, data-driven outcomes, building trust, using a safer option for online engagement. The cons of virtual communities are digital subconscious, exaggerate the facts, digital harassment, and isolation. As conclusion, the subject of virtual communities is broad and complex, and one research paper is not enough for it because each researcher has his own point of view in dealing with this type of community. What has increased the difficulty of addressing is the continuous technological development in the field of communications. Until today, we are talking about the technology of metaverse, which is capable of creating a new generation of virtual communities. So, researchers must hasten to agree on the concept of virtual communities to join the upcoming developments. Thank you for listening.